Good morning, children. Welcome to Little Scholars Public School online classes. Now, children, in last chapter we had studied the endogenetic movements. What are the endogenetic movements? The movements which are going on inside the Earth's crust is endogenetic movements, and these movements give pressure on the Earth outer side, and many processes or the movements are there on the earth. Now in this chapter, that is exogenetic process. What is exogenetic process that we are going to study in this chapter? Exogenetic processes, the movements which are created or which are formed outside or on the earth is exogenetic process, or the external process we can say. Okay, or the now the many landforms are formed due to the internal movements. Now many processes occurring on the earth's surface also lead to the formation of degradation of landforms continuously. Children, as we know, because of internal movements like earthquake, volcano, many new landforms are formed on the earth. Now many processes which are occur on the earth's surface also form some new landform or degrade the older landform. Now we are going to study these landforms, about these landforms. External processes occur because of the forces working on the earth's surface. Now there are mainly solar energy, gravitational force and kinetic energy. As we know, all these for energies you have studied in the last chapter. Now kinetic energy is possessed due to its motion, mass and velocity associated with the moving object on the earth's surface. Now children, do you know landforms formed on the earth's surface as a result of internal movements are called primary and secondary landforms? Now that means, for example, continents are formed, mountains are formed, plateaus are there, plains are there, which are formed due to internal movements, that are said to be primary and secondary landform. Now because of the external process like weathering, erosion, transportation and deposition, the primary and the secondary landforms give way to the tertiary landforms. Now what is weathering? So breaking up of rocks into small pieces or soil because of climate or rainfall, that is weathering. Then erosion means eroding by wind, water or natural agents. And transportation and deposition means when if for example, if sand is taken away with the wind and it is deposited at one place, that is transportation and deposition. So the primary and the secondary landform gives way to these tertiary landforms. For example, valleys are there, sand dunes are there. Valleys are what? That are low areas between hills and mountains. If you are moving from hills and mountains, you will see that the places are somewhere high, somewhere low. So where the low area is there, that is a valley, V-shaped valley or U-shaped valleys. Now what are sand dunes? In mostly in the places of what we can say desert region, large mass of land or large mass of sand is blown away with the wind, and that are deposited at some place. This is that are called as sand dunes. So mostly we'll see these sand dunes in the desert region. Next one is the delta. Now what is a delta? When river flows, river takes with it some sediments, small we can say sand, then we can say with it pebbles. So these are the deposition which is taken, or this is the things which are taken by the river with it or carried with the river through the flow. But when it reaches near the sea or lake and going to enter sea or lake, the water slows down and loses the power to carry these heavy sediments. So it leaves these sediment at mouth, and layers are formed in form of layers. So layers are formed, or the sediments are formed in layers. That place is said to be delta, which is at the mouth of the river or the sea, when it is going to, river is going to join this lake or sea. Now U-shaped valleys are created by the glaciers as they move. You know what are glaciers? The big ice, we can say the mountains of ice which are moving, and they erode the land. When these glaciers move, they erode the land and U-shaped valleys are formed. Now we are going to study about these weatherings, and we'll see about these pictures. Now we are going to study breaking or weakening of rock is a natural phenomenon. It is called as weathering. Means, children, as you must have studied in the last chapters, what is weathering? Yes, when breaking or the rocks are broken or weakened, the layers, upside layers are going or are being removed from the rock, and it becomes part. So this phenomenon is a natural phenomenon. It is called as weathering. Now weathering can be of three types, that is mechanical, that's physical, chemical and biological. Now in this chapter we are going to study all these three types of weathering. Now in arid climate means where there is lack of water and it prevents the growth of plants. At such places mechanical weathering is dominant, or it happens. While in humid climates chemical weathering is more effective, and biological weathering occurs because of living organisms. Now children, take an onion, cut it in the middle. Now observe the cut parts. Try to remove each skin layer of these parts. Now children, you will notice that just as we are removing each and every outer layer of onion, similarly in nature rock undergoes such a process. The exposed part of the rock heats more while the inner part is comparatively cooler. Means, which part is the outer part of the rock, it gets heat from the sun, heated because of sun rays more, and the inner part is much cooler than that, and as a result the outer layer of the rocks fall apart from the main rock. This is called as exfoliation of the rock. Now mechanical weathering mainly occurs because of the following reasons, that are temperature, frost, crystal growth, release of pressure and water. Children, we are going to study each and every point of this deeply. Now first of all, about temperature. The minerals in the rock expand because of heat and contract while temperature decreases. As we know, due to such continuous contracting and expanding, tension develops in the rock particle. As heat, because of heat, the rocks expand, and if contraction is there, when it is temperature is cool, it contracts, and because of this expansion and contraction, some tension is developed in the rock particles. Now each mineral reacts differently to the temperature. Some minerals expand more while some do not. So because of this, the tension formed in the rocks also increases and decreases. So as a result, because of this tension on the rocks, cracks develop in the rocks and they break. So in the area where the diurnal range, means during the day the range of temperature is higher, weathering of this type is common in the hot desert. Means mechanical weathering is common or more in hot desert, where in the daytime heat is more. Now we'll study about the frost. You know that the volume of the water increases when it freezes. If the water, when it freezes, it becomes ice, the volume of the water increases. So in areas where the temperature dropped below 0 degrees Celsius for quite some time, the water accumulated in the cracks or crevices in the rocks freeze. As we know, in the rocks water is there, and when the temperature goes of that area below 0 degrees Celsius, the water in that rock freezes and its volume increases. This leads to tension in the rocks and they shatter and they break down. Crystal growth. Now we can see in the rocky coast waves hit the sea cliff. Waves which are coming towards the beach or towards the land, it hits the sea cliff. So sea cliff are the rocks near the sea. So the water is alkaline, which is coming with these waves. So some water droplets in hit the cracks in the rocks, and in this alkaline water the soluble materials in the rock get dissolved, means the material which are soluble in water, these from the rocks get dissolved in that water, and this leads to formation of hole in these rocks from where this soluble material has gone with the water. So this is the effect of solution. Alkaline water gets stored. Now what happens when these materials go with the water? The alkaline water remains in that hole, and because of the heat this water turns into water vapor, and only crystals of alkaline material remain in the rock. So crystals occupy more space, and this causes tension in the rock. Holes are formed in the rock and it looks like a honeycomb. This is shown in this picture 3.3, that is alkaline crystallization. Now we'll see about the release of pressure. It is not said that tension is created in the rocks only because of temperature, freezing of water or crystallization. The outer layers of the rock exert pressure on the inner or the lower layers of that same rock. When this pressure ceases to exist or tries to exist, the lower or the inner layer gets freed from the pressure. This also leads to weathering. Now the last point, which is the reason for the mechanical weathering, is also water. Some areas, as we know, gets more rainfall than other. In such areas, soaking of rock or wet rock causes weathering of some rocks like sandstone conglomerate. Now children, this conglomerate are the pebbles in the sediments at the bottom of the river which consolidates together because of mud and rock gets formed. When such material is subjected to pressure, the pebbles in it are easily visible. Now this sandstone and this conglomerate, these rocks are formed because of pressure on the agglomeration, that is the assembling or the collection of sand particles. Mud also makes sand particles come together when water penetrates such rocks, and the particles get loose and separate from the main rock. When it gets wet, the mud also makes sand particle come together, and when the water penetrates in this or becomes wet in such rock, the particles get loose and it separates from the main rock. This is called granular weathering. Now sometimes both temperature and water are responsible for weathering. Now difference in temperature can causes contraction and expansion, widening the joints or the cracks in the rocks, and water accumulates in such wide joints and big blocks of rocks separate from each other. So this is called block disintegration. So what happens when both work together? Sometimes the temperature, because of temperature, contraction and expansion happens, and there are wide cracks or joints in the rocks, and water, after the rainfall, the water accumulates in this cracks or joints, and it also expands and contracts. because of temperature, and at that time big blocks of rocks separate from each other. This is called as block disintegration. Now children, remaining part we'll see in the next session.